Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Talking about Obamacare, I talk about that a lot on this program. You know, it's such an incredible disaster. It's hard to believe a country like this could have a program like that. You know, and I've told my own personal stories. My mom is from England. My grandfather died before his time, according to my family, because of the fact that they were told by a death panel in England that it didn't make economic sense to do certain procedures on my grandfather. That's what happens when you have government-controlled health care. And when you're no longer paying taxes, you'll be amazed of what they consider no longer important for them to underwrite. You know, and then you start thinking about liability. Who do you sue when the doctor takes off the wrong leg? Which happens all the time in government-run healthcare systems. Heck, it happens in the Veterans Administration hospitals here in this country. And so it's incredible. And people just kind of blindly followed that. And people are going to say, hey, wait a minute, I was opposed to it. Yeah, but most people weren't opposed enough to make a difference. And so I say shame even on the voters as much as the moronic politicians who are doing what they are always doing, which is moronic things. And so shame on us all. Now, though, it appears to be here, and we need to be thinking about what we can do about it. Travis Middleton, he is with a company called Trademark Health Insurance, or Trademark Insurance Agency, rather, and he's involved with a group that I'm also involved in called the Entrepreneur Broadcasting Company. We have an event coming up on October 30th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Trainwreck and Bullet Train Affordable Care Act is the name of that event. Travis, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Real quickly, why don't you just give us just a little information about Trademark.
Trademark Insurance Agency has been around in the Houston area for 37 years. We've built primarily in the domestic health insurance market, employee benefits. My wife does individual health insurance and Medicare. I'm dealing with domestic and international business.
Okay. Very good. Talk a little bit about this event. What are you going to cover? And then again, it's on October 29th. It looks like it's a luncheon.
It is going to be a luncheon, so
Yep.
It's a lunch and learn. We are going to be talking about your options, how to implement the Obamacare Affordable Care Act, what the differences are between taxes and penalties, how best to cover your employees, whether to put them through the exchange or whether to continue offering group health insurance. And then what the differences are within the individual policies that are currently on the federal marketplace exchanges.
Really? You were able to access those? You must be a genius.
Oh, thank you. I am. Actually, I meant, actually what we're doing is going through the open market. The open market is still available. If you don't qualify for a subsidy, there's no reason to even bother with the federal exchange. Go through your insurance agent. They've got access to every policy that is in the state of Texas that's being offered. That is the way to get the best consulting advice that you need.
Do you have any idea what percentage of the population in Texas is going to be eligible for the subsidy?
Not for the full state. Harris County, contiguous 8 counties, we've got around 33% of the population without health cover. Without health insurance. They still have total access to health cover, so there is no one that is in the state of Texas that cannot access health care, whether it be paid for by you and I, through our own premiums or through our taxes. So the leftover, what the feds are targeting right now, my understanding is about 7 million uninsured people, giving them a different way to finance their health care than what they're currently doing.
Yeah. I'm getting physically nauseated talking to you. Physically nauseated. You know, and this is going to be done with a $17.5 trillion debt that our future generations are paying for. You know, you talk about mob rule at its worst. Anyway, you're going to have to figure out how to navigate through this. And a lot of you are going to find this punitive, especially if you're a younger person. You're going to find this incredibly punitive, aren't you?
You're going to have to, because the only way to pay for this is by having a spread rate. You're going to have community ratings, and the spread rating is a 3-to-1 ratio. So, you know, the fact that I'm an older guy means that a younger guy who has not established himself in business is going to be helping to pay for part of my premium. And I want to tell you guys, thank you all for doing that.
Yeah, that's very, very generous of you. All right, it's October 30th, but you have to have it in by the 29th. And the way you go to learn more about it is ebcmeetup.eventbrite, that's BRITE.com, ebcmeetup.eventbrite.com. eventbrite.com. It's only $20, really $21.49, I guess, to pay for the fee for Eventbrite.
Yes, that's correct.
But I'm telling you, you're getting food as part of the deal, plus it looks like it's going to be extremely educational. I think it's a great idea. Have you done other seminars like this?
We're doing probably right now, between my wife and I, we're doing probably averaging a little over one a week currently, plus we're doing radio and media interviews.
Yep. Do you know what kind of lunch you're going to have?
Very tasty.
Very tasty. Awesome. I guess that Nixon on the rubber chicken is what I always say. So kind of give us an overview of what you hope to cover in this event.
Well, what we're trying to do is establish some guidelines for different size groups. If you're 2 to 50, you're going to have one set of rules and regulations. If you're over 50, you're going to be in pay or play. So you need to be able to figure out how many employees you've got to see if you're under 50 or over 50. If you're a air conditioning company and you've got a lot of part-time people, you've got to be adding up hours, dividing them out by 30 to find out how many real full-time people you've got. That's why you see a lot of people like Walmart and such are struggling to knock people off their plans or lower their employment hours down below 30 at this point.
Yep.
Lots of detailed pieces. We're going to be able to give some really good overview to this and give some good options, and then can do some one-on-one meetings after that also.
Yeah, Barack Obama is going to go down in history as one of the greatest job-creating presidents of all time. Of course, they're all part-time jobs, and the greatest obliterator of full-time jobs. But hey, at least he has something to say for himself. It's very sad, and it's interesting because it appears the government's saying, we're just going to keep lowering the hours that's going to be required for you to insure someone, which makes me wonder if eventually all of us are going to be unemployed. This scary, isn't it? You
started the show off by talking about the fact that it's our responsibility as the citizenry to go elect the proper people to represent us. For too long we've let others do this without having any consequence to them being in office. And so it really is up to us to go out and be grassroots active in finding people who will absolutely represent us in the American government.
Yeah, and I call them morons, but they had enough sense to exempt themselves from this monstrosity. They can't be completely dumb, but we certainly are by continuously reelecting these guys. By the way, as it points out here in this information at ebcmeetup.eventbrite, that's BRITE.com, that it was considered constitutional because it was a tax. Yet that tax began in the U.S. Senate, which Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says taxes must begin in the House. So I guess we have a whole new basis for a court case against Obamacare based on that, which you would make you think Roberts would say, on the other hand, since it didn't begin in the House, it's not constitutional. I don't understand that. It's like,
You need to be careful between the difference between taxes and penalties, because their penalties are embedded in this, and penalties are not tax deductible for business expense, and that's going to be one of the big keys for your 50-plus companies.
You're making me sicker and sicker. All right. Travis Middleton, he's with Trademark Insurance Agency, tmia.biz. Thanks for being with us.
No, I appreciate you having me.
I'm only joking. It's not you. You're just the messenger. So
That's it.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, much, much more for you. You're listening to The Price of Business on Business Talk 1110.